Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back in to Sleuths Investigate. On this Memorial Day, we are going to cover a case about a brave Marine who fought in the Vietnam War. While receiving treatment here in the States, he was sadly murdered and for many years classified as a deserter to this country. That is, until he was identified 44 years later. To all of our military viewers, past and present, thank you for your service.
Known to his family as Bobby Dan, Robert Daniel Corriveau was born on December 1st, 1947, to Kathleen and Philip Corriveau in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Robert was the oldest out of 4 children and loved to tease his younger sister he called Gigi. His family described him as rambunctious, fun-loving, and strong-willed. He attended Mount St. Charles Academy in Rhode Island, which was an all-boys boarding school. While there, he excelled at sports. He loved baseball and hockey. At 17 years old, Robert convinced his parents to allow him to join the Marines. He enlisted on April 1st, 1965, and went to Parris Island, South Carolina for boot camp. He was a part of Platoon 222. After completing boot camp, Robert was sent to Camp Geiger in North Carolina to train in the 1st Infantry Training Regiment, 2nd Battalion. There, he became a machine gunner. While home on leave, he married his childhood sweetheart, Sharon, without telling his family. Robert was eventually promoted to corporal. In 1967, he was assigned with the Thundering 3rd, the 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines, India Company, and was deployed to Dong Ha, South Vietnam. Robert and his battalion fought in a plethora of intense battles and skirmishes in areas such as Hue City, Phu Bay, and Quang Tri Province. On June 1st of 1967, Robert was wounded in action, taking shrapnel to the face. He was wounded again by taking shrapnel to the lower left arm while in combat around the western Quang Tri Province. On June 24th, he was wounded a 3rd time when a bullet went through the barrel of his machine gun and then through his lower left arm. His thumb was also severed. He was medevaced out of theater and eventually recovered from his wounds at Chelsea Naval Hospital in Massachusetts. He received many awards, including the Purple Heart with 2 gold stars and 2 bronze stars. Robert wanted to return to Vietnam for a 4th tour, but due to his mental state, he was denied. In October of 1968, Robert came home on leave, and his family noticed he wasn't himself. Haunted by the flashbacks and nightmares of war, he experienced a fit of rage and smashed the windows of several cars parked on the street one night. Worried about his safety, as well as others, his parents convinced his commanding officer to get him help. Robert was sent to the now demolished Philadelphia Naval Hospital. Sharon and Robert's marriage was also slightly strained because while he was gone, she joined the peace movement and was moving to California. In November, he spoke with his mom on the phone about wanting to be home at the dinner table for Thanksgiving. He was worried about getting a holiday pass and explained he would call them as soon as he could figure out his leave. Sadly, that call never happened. Wanting to check on his son and see if he was coming home for the holiday, Philip phoned the Naval Hospital and was given some daunting news. Robert was missing. On the 18th of November, after Robert had spent the weekend in the Philadelphia area on an authorized Liberty Pass, he had missed the morning muster at the hospital. Since he could not be accounted for during muster, the Marine Corps considered Robert to be on unauthorized absence. At the same time, it was identified that Robert was unaccounted for. A Pennsylvania trooper on a routine patrol, approximately 29 miles away on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, noticed a man sitting upright alongside the road. When he stopped to check, it was quickly realized he was deceased. The man had no identification and was found in civilian clothes, and his head was covered with a navy peacoat. The only markings that authorities had were his tattoos, a traditional swallow with a heart, and a United States Marine Corps bulldog wearing a World War I helmet. Although there was no blood or weapon found near his body, Autopsy results showed that he had been stabbed once through the heart, leading authorities to believe his body had been transported to this location. Sadly, the police were never able to find any clues or evidence to explain what really happened. He was classified and buried as Bulldog John Doe. At this time, after being absent from the military for 30 days, Robert was now considered absent without leave and classified as a deserter. This is one of the most disgraceful titles an individual can have during a time of war, and it can also carry the punishment of the death penalty. Bulldog John Doe remained unknown, and Robert remained a deserter to the military for 44 years until investigators re-examined the case in 2009. The unknown body was exhumed in order to take DNA samples from his bones to submit to a national missing persons database. Due to his Marine Corps tattoo, Pennsylvania officers contacted the Naval Crime Investigative Services, who were able to eventually associate Robert as the missing person, and his family was contacted to provide DNA comparisons. On October 13, 2012, Corporal Robert Bobby Dan Corriveau was finally laid to rest next to his family in St. Mary's Cemetery in Lawrence, Massachusetts, with full military honors. In 2013, 45 years after Robert's death, the city of Lawrence dedicated a memorial to him known as Corriveau Square. The ceremony included an honor guard, rifle detail, and the playing of taps. In addition, the city's Veterans Services Director offered the public apology for the wrongful and disgraceful title that Robert carried as a deserter for so long. Robert Corriveau is a true military hero who dedicated his life to this nation. Robert's investigation is still active, and investigators have been able to pull records from the hospital and contact individuals who worked there, along with the patients at that time, but have been unsuccessful in any leads. It was noted during the investigation that Robert boxed in the war as a featherweight. Many family and friends stated Robert would not have went down without putting up a serious fight. It is unclear if Robert's toxicology report was ever released to his family or the public. Some of the questions we have after reviewing his case are, since there was no blood on Robert's clothes or near the fatal wound, was he killed at the hospital? Was he possibly killed after a night of drinking? Regardless, this November 18th will mark 51 years since this brave Marine was selfishly murdered. If anyone has any information, or possibly has family members that either served with Robert or knew him from the Philadelphia Naval Hospital, we are urging you to contact the Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers at 1-800-472-8477 or visit their website at www.pacrimestoppers.org.